Jacob thought that he and Charlie were the only two in the car, and Charlie was not only his son-in-law, but also his most trustworthy person. Therefore, he was almost unguarded against him, and he was not afraid that would mind about those things with Mei Ching. At this time, while unpacking the package, he sighed, "Oh, my dear son-in-law, don't you know how popular your aunt is now in senior colleges? Those who like her are from 30 to 40 years old. From young to 60 or 70 years old, the number of suitors can't be counted. If you're Dad, I don't pay close attention to it, I'm afraid the situation will be bad." Charlie hushed awkwardly, and switched the subject away and said, "Dad, don't you drink less at night? Or stop talking? Close your eyes and rest for a while." "How do you do that?" Jacob said immediately, "I haven't seen what your auntie gave me." With that said, the outer packaging has been opened by him. Seeing the box inside, he couldn't help exclaiming, "I'm going dizzy." It turned out to be a Rolex. Charlie listened and glanced subconsciously, and found that there was a Rolex watch in the box. Jacob picked up the watch carefully, looked at it, and exclaimed, "This is the very popular Green Water Ghost, isn't it? It shouldn't be a 180,000? Charlie glanced at it and said with a smile, "Dad, you are too ignorant. This is not a Green Water Ghost, this is a gold watch." "Gold watch?" Jacob frowned and said, "Don't know anything about watches. I heard people say that Rolex Water Ghost is very valuable. You said it is gold? How much is it worth?" Charlie said, "The price of Rolex has risen sharply recently. This piece is probably between 350,000 and 380,000. Mom, it's so expensive?" Jacob's tone changed a little, and he blurted out, "A watch worth nearly 400,000, this is too scary." Charlie said indifferently, "Dad, the set of skincare products you gave Aunt is about 390,000. It will be gone after a period of time. If this watch is well maintained, it will not be a problem to use it for decades. It will increase in value in the future. For example, the Green Water Ghost, which used to be able to buy 50,000, now has 100,000 price tag." Jacob nodded repeatedly, touching the watch, and couldn't put it down. This was given to him by Mei Ching, and it was of great significance to him. He put the watch on his wrist, carefully examined it, and said happily, "Oh, this watch is so beautiful that the more you look, just say you Aunt loves me more. For someone else, who is willing to give me such an expensive watch? My mother is reluctant, Charlie, don't you think?" Charlie said embarrassingly, "Haha, Dad, if you drink too much, better take a rest first." "What are you asking me to rest for?" Jacob said, "I have to take a few pictures with my phone and send it to Aunt to show her how good her vision is." As he said, he immediately took out his cell phone. As soon as he took out my phone, the phone rang. Jacob couldn't help but muttered, "Oh, it is from Claire. Charlie, don't talk nonsense. If she asks later, you can't let her know that I am talking to you about Aunt and we ate together." Charlie stretched out his right hand to cover half of his face. He really didn't know how to respond to this stupid old man. At this time, Jacob pressed the answer button, and said in a casual way, "Hey, Claire, I have come back with Charlie." Just listen to Claire's angry voice from the back seat, "Dad. You really disappointed me." Jacob let out a terrified cry. The phone fell off his hand and fell into a gap. He didn't care about picking up the phone, and looked back at Claire in horror. Claire? Why are you in the car?" Claire asked angrily, "Why can't I be in the car? If I'm not in the car, would I know that you have derailed?" Jacob suddenly seemed to be stepped on his tail, and blurted out, "Oh, don't talk nonsense. When did I cheat?" Claire said, "You and that aunt are already at the point where you can send such expensive gifts to each other. And you are carrying your mother on your back, dating and having dinner in private. What is this if not cheating?" Jacob hurriedly said, "This is not a derailment. Aunt and I are very respectful, and have never crossed line for half a step. Besides, your mother and I are separated and have no feelings. Divorce is a matter of time. Even if I do is really cheating, that can't be called cheating. That's the beginning of a new relationship. You. Claire's angry little face flushed, and her eyes were tearful and said, "How can you do this? I always thought you were a good father and husband. But I did not expect that you have become so excessive now. You have been with Mom for more than 20 years. For more than 20 years of ups and downs, even if there is no love, family affection is always there, right? You must at least give Mom at least your respect. Jacob explained, I didn't disrespect her. If I disrespect her, I would have reconciled with you, Aunt. It is because I respect her that I have to divorce her formally, and then just follow your aunt and be together. Claire cried and asked, why do you have to divorce my mother and be with that aunt? Do you know that this practice is immoral? Does that aunt know that being a third party, that it is immoral to get involved in someone else's marriage? Jacob was also anxious, and blurted out, your aunt is not the third party. Your mother is the third party. Claire was stunned. Dad, what are you talking about? Jacob said coldly, I'm not talking nonsense. I should have been with your aunt. Back then, if your mother was not involved in as the third party and took me to the guest house to open a room after I was drunk, how could your aunt leave me?